In speculative fiction, we often witness a clash between a rigid government and the individuals it tries to suppress. But the stakes change when that government isn't just a political body, but the actual architect of reality itself. Take the Capitol in the Hunger Games. Panem is a closed loop, where every district is a specialized organ designed to keep the center alive, while the periphery remains in a state of arrested development. This structural dominance reflects what Antonio Gramsci called hegemony. It is a method of rule where a leading group maintains power through a mixture of force and engineered consent, making their authority feel like an inevitable law of nature. In Panem, this is achieved by weaponizing isolation and scarcity. By keeping the districts hungry and physically separated, the capital ensures that daily survival consumes all of a citizen's mental and physical energy. The Annals of an Angel series scales this architecture up to the cosmic level. Here, the rules aren't laws written by a president. They are the literal fabric of the universe set down by the Creator. The angels and archangels occupy fixed slots in a hierarchy that has existed for billions of years. Despite the difference in scale, both systems share a specific goal. They seek to automate compliance by removing the possibility of an alternative path for those living within them. In this cosmic setup, the regime's decrees are embedded into the environment. To live is to exist within a blueprint where every action is already accounted for by the higher authority. This structure illustrates how power functions in a divine hierarchy. It is a strictly top-down flow, where the entities at the peak hold a monopoly on existence, defining the roles for every being below them. In such a system, deviation isn't just a crime, it's a malfunction. When an individual steps outside their assigned lane, the system responds by attempting to neutralize their ability to make any further independent choices. These regimes operate as predictable, closed environments. They are designed to be unstoppable, provided every variable behaves exactly as programmed. But brute force is expensive and exhausting. How do these massive systems maintain order day after day without descending into a state of constant resource-draining warfare? The philosopher Michel Foucault observed that systems of power often use public punishment as a theatrical tool. By making violence a visible instructional event, the regime teaches the public the cost of disobedience without having to fight every citizen individually. This analysis shows how the Capitol applies Foucault's theory. The trauma of children fighting becomes a televised ritual. The goal is inducing emotional detachment. Consuming suffering through screens conditions audiences to watch passively rather than imagine how to stop it. We see a parallel in the celestial displays of the Annals of an Angel. When beings like Lucifer or the archangels use supernatural force to obliterate a grand structure in an instant, the sheer scale of the display is meant to instill a sense of absolute awe. Spectacle is designed to frame resistance as an impossibility. It forces the viewer to look at the power of the oppressor and conclude that the gap between their own strength and the regime's is too wide to cross. However, the logic of absolute control breaks down when an individual rejects the role the system has assigned to them. Think of Katniss Everdeen in the arena. Her rebellion isn't a strategic military strike. It's a moment of empathy for Rue and her sister. When she holds out the nightlock berries, she subverts the Capitol's entertainment by making a choice they didn't provide. In the Annals of an Angel, figures like Adonael and Lucifer engage in a similar disruption. By acting outside the preordained celestial blueprint, they prove that even a divine order is vulnerable to a redirected will. Adonael's journey is notably gritty. After returning to Earth as Drake, he deals with staggering physical and mental trauma. This replaces the usual sci-fi trope of a clean ascension to power with a realistic look at the cost of carrying such a burden. When these characters prioritize their internal sense of right and wrong over a rigid political or cosmic framework, they demonstrate that the system's control over their minds is an illusion. Free will functions as a variable these regimes are unequipped to process. Their power is built on the assumption that every subject will follow the path of least resistance. As the diagram shows, a regime can calculate for resources and geography, the rigid grid on the left, but it cannot predict the volatile nature of sacrifice or love. Those unpredictable choices create the fractures you see on the right. When an individual chooses to act for reasons the state didn't authorize, they derail the infrastructure of control. The system's predictability, its greatest strength, becomes its point of failure. At this level, the conflict is no longer just about territory or laws. It is a struggle for the right to maintain an independent mind in the face of a system that demands a total surrender of the self. Whether the arena is a district in Panem or the highest level of a celestial hierarchy, the fight to choose one's own destiny remains the same. Which fictional rebellion do you think captures this tension most effectively? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching.